Hello everybody and especially microeconomics students. Here is a summary for Chapter 3, Part 1, Demand. In this chapter we will find out the meaning of QDX, PX, PY, I. Moreover, we will explain the law of diminishing marginal utility, why the demand curve shift, and when, the market demand, and the profit. QDX is the quantity demanded of good X. PX is the price of X. PY is the price of other goods. I is the income of households. Let's start with QDX. You shall consider only two goods in the market, X and Y. QDX is in function of PX, income of household I, and PY. PX. It is the main factor of the quantity demanded. If price increases, demand decreases. And if price decreases, demand increases. PY. If Y and X are substitutes. Replace one by another because both give me same satisfaction. For example, if we have Pepsi as product X, and 7 as product Y. If PY increases, QY decreases. So QX will increase. However, if Y and X are complements, you cannot use one without the other, for example, fuel and cars, printer and cartridge. Let's consider a car as product X and the fuel as product Y. If PY increases, QX will decrease. Now, getting to the income of households. It depends on the type of the good. We have normal goods and inferior goods. The normal goods are the goods for which demand tends to rise when income rises. For example, luxury goods. If the income increases, the demand will also increase. However, the inferior goods are the goods for which demand tends to fall when income rises. If the income increases, the demand will decrease. QDX equals minus APX plus B. Where A is the slope, always negative, and B represents all other factors than price. The slope A is equal to the variation in QDX over the variation in PX. PX is equal to minus A prime QDX plus B prime. The slope A prime is equal to the variation in PX over the variation in QDX. To note that A prime is equal to 1 over A. Now let's move to the law of diminishing marginal utility. It is the additional satisfaction that you get from the first time, the maximum satisfaction. For example, if you eat the first piece of cake, you get the maximum satisfaction. If you eat a second piece, you get a less satisfaction than the first one. If you eat more and more, you will not be satisfied anymore. Why demand curve shift and when? Case 1, if PX changes and all else equal. The quantity demanded changes, it is a movement along the curve, thus no shift. Demand curve doesn't change, B is constant. Case 2, PX is constant, I or PY changes. It will result in a shift to the right or to the left. Because the slope remain constant, but B changes. If I changes, the PPF will shift to the right if there is a normal good and B increases. The PPF will shift to the left if there is an inferior good and B increases. If PY changes, the PPF will shift to the right if X and Y are substitutes. The PPF will shift to the left if X and Y are complements. For the market demand, you must add the quantity demanded for the same price. It is the sum of all the quantities of a good or service demanded per period by all the households buying in the market for that good or service. It is the sum of x-axis. Finally, the profit is the total revenue minus the total cost. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please like and subscribe to my channel. The next video will be a summary for Chapter 3 Part 2 Microeconomics, Supply and Market Equilibrium.